You are listening to All Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia. Wole and Ray are your hosts. Mo is out. It's just like every other individual. Ray out, Mo's out. Mo's out, Ray's out. Who is good, Ray?
I'll be real. You already know this time of the season, or it ain't even the season yet. As a matter of fact, this time of the year
it's gonna get real.
It's not a whole lot to talk about. Although when we're talking about Washington quarterbacks,
I thought you about to talk about March Madness. My bad, bro. Go ahead.
No. One of our most entertaining and or I can't say popular because it doesn't have the best views, but one of my I guess most enjoyable times when we were having shows during the off season last year was when we talked about Heineke. and what he could potentially be for this team, and it turned out he was the starter. You know, and it was actually a dope show. So hopefully you and I can replicate that success today. But you know what? Washington Commanders, the name still doesn't vibe with me yet, and then it's the off season, bro. Like, really, it's not too many topics yet until they make a move. Until the draft comes around. It is tough. But hey, we got to keep the people getting the content that they need because we're not like any other show.
Yeah, no, we gonna give the people what they want because they talking about some other dude. Yeah, I know, right? The stolen stuff, you know what I'm saying? But it's because the Twitter sphere, you know what I'm saying? They out here talking, they talking about all types of quarterbacks. So we're gonna try to get these people what they talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Grab my phone off that one. I do because I gotta make sure I mention what's going on Twitter right now. And how hilarious this is to me personally in terms of where Washington is. But they sound like a desperate team. I'm ready.
Yes, I'm saying, like, it is what it is. Hey, subscribe. I'll read this part. Don't worry about it, Ray. I'm tired, so I'll do it.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I got you, bro. Do you want to do it? You can do it. I'm looking at.
Subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Just search All Burgundy and Go Errrything. That's 3 R's. Also tweet us at Urban Sports Scene. And hit us up on IG and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page.
Hey, make sure you subscribe to Fox Sports 1340 AM Hopewell, Virginia, and the Urban Sports Scene YouTube channel as well. All right, man, it's time for the pregame. Here's what we have on tap. We'll debate whether quarterback Mitch Trubisky is a winning option for the Washington Commanders. This is amazing. This is out here, man. This is really out here. So, Ray, you can take us into this topic, my man.
Okay, so I'm gonna go a little bit off script. Is that cool?
Sure, cool.
Because
I'm down for it.
At the time of our recording, I do have my phone here, so I will read this. At the time of our recording, according to our homie John Kine, the Washington has reached out to every team to inquire about a quarterback's availability and the cause. That means it's approximately 40 plus quarterbacks.
I know, it's tough.
So this is called desperation. And right now,
right it is.
The only name that's gaining traction is Mitch Trubisky.
Well, there's a few, real talk. So Mitch Trubisky is it's wild because everybody has their season and everybody has their day when it comes to Washington quarterbacks, right? Everybody has their day. Russell Wilson is consistent, right? Like that's been the theme or whatever. They even have folks on the news, was it Craig Melvin, talking when he had that interview with Russell Wilson and Sierra, kind of throwing that out there, right? But yeah, today's Trubisky. Before it was James Winston. That was a day. Jimmy G was a day. So every quarterback has their day. Right now it's Mitchell Trubisky. He's hot right now in terms of what the odds makers are saying, whatever leak is out there about the interest. This is where I'm at with quarterbacks for the Washington Commanders. I was about to call them the Washington football team. For the Washington Commanders, this is where I'm at. Yeah, exactly. This is where I'm at with it. Taylor Heineke was your quarterback last year, man. Beggars can't be choosers. If you were out there on the Taylor Heineke bus and you feel like, and you consistently still think that you could win some games with him, then you should have no issue with Mitchell Trubisky coming to town. You shouldn't really, because Mitchell Trubisky is still better than Taylor Heineke. Mitchell Trubisky took the Chicago Bears to the postseason, I believe, with Matt Nagy as the coach. So, yeah, I mean, he's been a playoff quarterback. He's had some success. He's not the best quarterback in the world. I'm not the biggest Mitch Trubisky fan. But if you're looking at what you have in the building, he's better. Do I want him as the Washington Commanders quarterback? No, not at all. But in comparison to what's in the building, if right now all you can get is Mitchell Trubisky to improve from Taylor Heineke, then that's fine. You should be okay with it. Bro, I'd take Kirk Cousins back. So that's where I'm at.
Wow. Okay, we got to that point.
Yeah.
Brian Weinstein said he would be a masochist to come back here.
I know.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah.
You listen to all Burgundy Go, Errrything with Urban Sports. And of course, we're talking about Mitch Trubisky possibly being a Washington Commander. I hope I didn't mess that up already because I can't get this Commander name locked in my brain.
Bro, it's like it hurts.
I mean, it's worse than the beginning of a calendar year when you write the wrong date. Like I catch on to that pretty quick.
Yeah,
right
bro.
now, I just it's not working for me. Now,
Not either.
you wearing a hat and all. I know people excited about some of the gear, the jerseys.
Yeah,
so
they are. They're very excited.
Cool. So I'm just going to positive. Anyway, okay. If there is a problem with Mitchell Trubisky being here, what is it? Is it not the sexy name? Is it his body of work? Because if you look at his body of work, he wasn't that bad. He had some success. And of course, he spent the season backing up Josh Allen as well, which I think would be able to help him if he were to come here. So I wouldn't have an issue with it. However, the consensus is based on what you just said. Jimmy G, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, all the names have been floated out there. Even Tua has been floated out there. We all are in agreement that this team needs a quarterback, and we've been in agreement for a whole 2 decades that this team needs a franchise quarterback, somebody who's going to help do what, Wole? Sustain success. Who's going to help the franchise to have some stability and sustain success. So, is Mitchell Trubisky that guy? I want to say no. However, can he be that guy that fills that role for the next 2 seasons while you bring along a rookie quarterback? I think Mitchell Trubisky could be that guy.
I don't know what sustained success is anymore in today's NFL. No, I'm being real. Like, this is what like, and I said this to Mo last week. What is to you sustained success? Like, what teams really sustain success?
Green Bay.
It's not a lot.
No, I'm just saying Green Bay.
That's right.
Definitely won.
Yeah.
Of course, as of late, the Chiefs. I'll even say a team like, even though of course they make it to the playoffs, but they don't necessarily win. And that's New England Patriots. And I know they had
that's perfect. That's fair. They're all fair.
Because even when he got injured, they still went 11-5 with Matt Castle.
Cam was 7-9, even with the
playoffs this past season.
Yeah, and Cam was 7-9, even a bad year.
People were like, "Oh, you can't use the Patriots example," but
you can.
No Tom Brady.
No,
it was only because of COVID where they struggled. The Saints, I think, are a team that they consistently are in the mix, even though because this past season they went through it. Now it's gonna be wild to see what our coaching change.
Yeah. So,
but I'm talking about flat out, like at least your team is competing. But
this is
below 500 consistent.
Yeah, but this is my thing. This is my thing about sustained success. And everybody looks at quarterback. Other than Aaron Rodgers, and you could say, Mahomes. You got Patrick Mahomes. So I like to add that in. But you got Andy Reid. But let's even eliminate let's eliminate the Mahomes element because he still was winning with Alex Smith, right?
Sure.
So and that's sustained success.
It is.
What's in common? It's really the quarterbacks aren't the ones. Sustained success is what?
Okay, Baltimore, same thing.
Coaching.
See, it's a number of factors because we talk about culture.
Yeah, I'm agreeing. I agree. You're right. I'm just saying. No, I get. So when we talk about sustained success, we always mention like the quarterback. It's the culture. It's more like you said. It's the culture, and it's really like the coaching, like the culture, because it's still a trickle down effect. So to get that young quarterback to sustain, to get this, unless you get Aaron Rodgers, unless you get Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning, unless you get those guys, sustained success is like every other year. It's not consistent winning.
And that's kind of what you're looking for, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, you could do that, but you can do that to a point, though. So to that point, you can do that. But see, when people say sustained success, you're thinking about getting a younger quarterback. You can do that and get a quarterback for 3 years, and that's sustained success. But it's the older quarterback. The look isn't young. You can sustain success for 3 years. In today's NFL, you don't get a 5-year run unless you're the Patriots and the Packers, because you have Aaron Rodgers, because you're always going to be in bad football games. Drew Brees, Sean Payton. I mean, I like to add the Sean Payton element. Sean Payton, Drew Brees.
That's what I said.
You're not gonna get because look how much we love. All right, I love Justin Herbert, dude. I love Justin Herbert. He's a dog, bro. To me, he's like just as good as Patrick Mahomes. I think he's just as good as Patrick Mahomes. He don't got the coach that Patrick Mahomes has. You know what I'm saying?
So again, I think what you're hitting on, and I said this a while back.
Yeah.
I said this in response to somebody on Twitter.
Yeah.
The quarterback does not equal success. No,
it doesn't.
It
doesn't.
A great example of that.
It doesn't.
Stafford in Detroit is a great example of that.
It doesn't.
No doubt. I totally agree. So sustained success is bigger than the quarterback. I will acknowledge that. And you mentioned the 2 C's, coaching and culture, or we did, which is important because this is why teams like Baltimore and Pittsburgh can win even when their quarterback situation is in shambles.
Yeah.
Because of the culture and because of the coaches.
Yeah. And also it goes to this question. So we talk about Mitch Trubisky. Like, is he good? I'm going to go to the guy I like to bash. It is what it is. Can he be successful in a Scott Turner offense? And if I flip this way, can Scott Turner be successful with a Mitchell Trubisky, or does he need better?
Well, see, your latter question is that's the big one.
Yes.
Because yes, Trubisky fits the mold of a type of guy that Scott Turner will want in his system, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Mobile, big quarterback.
The question is, what is Scott Turner's vision and what is his style? We don't know that.
Yes.
Because everybody says, okay, you ran heavy because you were adjusting to the quarterback you had.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had 2 seasons now where the quarterback has been to blame of why he hasn't been able to necessarily put his stamp on the offense. So you better get the right guy. They thought Fitz was going to be good because he can get the ball downfield, and you thought you had a stout defense.
Yes.
But that turned out not to be the case, unfortunately. Which says, okay, now you have to prepare yourself for whatever possibilities, injuries, COVID. You already know, bro. Like, who was the best linebacker in the league? Oh, no, not in the league. The best rookie linebacker, of course, Michael Parsons.
Yes.
Did he not miss a game because he was diagnosed, or what was it, a game or 2?
Yeah.
Because he was diagnosed with COVID. That's the type of times we're dealing with now where you don't know what's going to happen. So you have to prepare. You have to have depth. You have to have all these things. And your offense sometimes will need to carry you in today's game.
It does.
And that's been a point of emphasis, of course, the last 2 off seasons, but you have come up short a bit. So
definitely. So I posted that question. We put this on our social media platforms at Urban Sports Team, at Urban Sports Team on Twitter, on our Urban Sports Team Facebook page, but on Twitter, the Burgundy Ghost said, "I'm still not 100% sure what Scott's scheme is. They've had the most success running the ball and hope Heineke can make a play with his feet more than anything else."
The team needs an identity.
Honey on Twitter, Honey says, "No, and truthfully, Scott Turner may not be the answer either."
Man,
look, man, the people are talking, bro.
We've been kind of.
People are talking,
and it's nothing personal to Scott Turner. We're talking about results, and so far the results have not been great. Now, of course, you say he's been working with certain quarterbacks, but as much as Jimmy G gets bashed, right?
Yeah.
He gets bashed a whole lot. Kyle Shanahan.
That's my point, bro.
He should get some credit because that's the definition of an offensive
genius.
See,
this is what I'm talking.
Matt
Look,
Ryan.
yes.
The quarterbacks you plug in, and that
all do well.
System,
they get better. They do, like, even if you're one of the better, you're great or good quarterback, like Matt Ryan. He's one of the best quarterbacks ever in Atlanta, right? But when he got Kyle Shanahan, he took his game to the next level. He just improved. He was even better. Matt Schaub you mentioned was better because of Kyle Shanahan. Every RG3 because of Kyle Shanahan. Like, all these dudes, Kirk Cousins because of Kyle Shanahan. Like, the thing about it is like, that's a genius. So when people are like, and I love you, Doug, if you're listening, you my guy. But when we throw out that word genius, man, we can't be saying it for everybody, because you just mentioned Jimmy G. Everybody trashes Jimmy G to a point where when fans say, when fans come out, when it comes out, when a rumor comes out and it's like Jimmy G could become the DC. Folks are like, no, we don't want him, whatever. And I'm like, dude just got teamed into a Super Bowl with Scott Turner. With Shanahan. Kyle went to Super Bowl, NFC Championship game twice with this dude. Like, with this dude, bruh. Like, I'm sorry, NFC Championship game and Super Bowl. Excuse me. NFC Championship game and Super Bowl. And you don't want him. We went there with Kyle. So you try to tell me, so automatically you're telling me that Scott Turner isn't good enough. He is not good enough to be successful with Jimmy G. That's what you're telling me. So to your point, that's what I'm saying. Like, he ain't genius. But that's the thing. Like, the question is, can he do that with a Mitchell Trubisky? And I'm like, I don't think so, because he needs a guy. From what everybody keeps coming out on Twitter and saying, he doesn't need a guy. He needs an elite guy. He needs the guy to run his offense, because that's the only way his offense can work.
Who's the best coach in football?
Coach? Oh man, I still think Bill Belichick the best coach in football.
Exactly. He wanted Jimmy G.
Yes.
Apparently, Bob Kraft didn't.
Yes.
If the best coach in the league says Jimmy G can be my guy, then how do we argue that? That's where I feel like fans have a disconnect. You know what I'm saying? Not to of course say that GMs and coaches aren't wrong at times. I mean, clearly. Yes. But that's where I feel like, again, it depends on how you coach the individual. There are several. I mean, Mitch Trubisky had a great season his rookie year, but people don't like him. So
his second year, not rookie year, second year. Second. That's where he was bad rookie year. But I know what you're talking about.
So I'm sorry, that 12-4
season. Yeah.
So what does that speak to? It speaks to coaching, man.
Yes, coaching.
So that's what always comes back to us. It always comes back to that for us on the All Burgundy. It comes back to the offensive coordinator. It comes back. I mean, honestly, to the head coach, because not only are people questioning the identity of the offense and offensive coordinator, but what is Ron Rivera's vision? People say, "What? We don't know." When we posed that question months ago, and people say,
"Bro, it's this simple." Even like sustained success. Let's use that that term that you use, and it's true though too. I know what you're talking about with it, and it's true. I should say maybe. But look at what's going on now, and I think we said this on our other show. You mentioned it on the other show about how now, like, he don't care about draft. He'll trade. What did it take to bring Matthew Stafford to the Rams? Right? Like, we don't care about draft picks. Like, what's changed from year 2 to year 3? This is the reason why I say that is, Ray, you saw what the Rams did, even when they had momentum, when they brought in McVay and they started making signings. So they got McVay. They said, we got the boy genius. So now we're going to start signing younger. We're going to start signing explosive players, making trades to get explosive players. They got Sammy Watkins Jr. They brought in Woods. They did all these dudes to make it easy for at the time Jared Goff and they had Todd Gurley, so they had somebody to lean back on. But what I'm saying is that they got the momentum of bringing in Sean McVay, and it was like, all right, we're going to jump on this. We ain't going to let this just slide. We're going to make it easy for them. You just came off winning a division. Regardless if it was the worst, a poor division, you came off winning the division. So you had momentum. We like using that term. You had momentum. You're better off trying to trade whatever after year 1, when you kind of accelerated the plan, right? Because you won a division. You're better off trying to make those trades in year 2 than you are in year 3. If you're going to stick with that same sustained, like we're talking about, let's build it the right way. If you're using that moniker, you're using that belief, then you're not making any crucial trades in year 3. But if you're saying, like, I'm done with it, I'm trying to win, you should do that in year 2 when you have momentum. You don't have the momentum going into year 3. The momentum is not there.
Two things. Let me clarify my stance on sustained success, because I think some can interpret that as, okay, every year you're in the playoffs. That doesn't.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Right. Like, if I had Dak as my quarterback, I'm comfortable starting every season because I think he's that good.
Yes.
Even though maybe every year he hasn't made it to the playoffs, but he's made it. He's made it, what, 2 out of the last 3 seasons, correct?
Yeah, I believe so.
Because of course you count
what about the injuries? Yeah, he's made it 2 out of the last 3 seasons.
The year they were injured, he didn't make it.
Yeah,
they didn't make it. But as someone who does not root for the Washington Commanders, the team I root for, I'm comfortable with the guy that is behind center. But let me pose this question: if somebody were to say to you, the all in on a quarterback philosophy is flawed. Because look at what happened to Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you go all in on a guy, let's say Deshaun Watson, you trade everything, you get him, he gets hurt week 2. It's like, dang, we traded everything. Because see, the Rams, I felt like, let's say Stafford got hurt this season. The Rams were good enough defensively, and they had enough weapons to. I think they competed with golf. I feel like they still would have been good enough to still actually compete. But if you trade everything and you get a quarterback this season, like let's say you trade everything for Aaron Rodgers and he would get hurt or something, that would be horrible for
but scam money don't make money. I think that happens in football.
No,
like
I'm
if
just
you lose,
asking you.
like no, I would go all in. It depends on the player. Like I'm going all in on Aaron Rodgers. Like you don't gotta tell me nothing. Deshaun, I don't even care. Deshaun, whatever. I go all in on Deshaun. I may not get him in this year, but I know I got him in year 2. I know I got him in the next following year. I have a Deshaun Watson, and he's still young. I have a Deshaun Watson. It ain't always about the present. You know, when you got if he's young enough, it's not about the present. It's about what's going to happen. It could be what happened in year 2, year 3. You know what I'm saying? So, because I know I got that guy. Like, I got that guy. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't matter. To me, when you got Deshaun Watson, it really doesn't matter, in my opinion, who's coaching him, offensively speaking. It doesn't matter. And I just feel like even if that dude isn't back, even say they get rid of the regime or whatever, you still got Deshaun Watson. You're good. There's certain people I would go all in, definitely. I mean, I think at this point in time, if you're Rivera, you do have to go all in. If a Russ is on the market, you do got to kind of go all in. But I get what you're saying. Like, but in any situation, in terms of quarterback, if your quarterback goes down, you're pretty much in trouble anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Jared Goff goes down, the Rams are in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Say if they kept Jared Goff, you know what I'm saying? If they kept Jared Goff, he goes down there in trouble. They're not the same Rams team. If Tom Brady goes down with the Bucks, they're not the same team. There's a reason why that person's the backup. There's a big difference.
That's true. That's true. But the difference is you're going all in. Like when Lamar Jackson got hurt, yeah, of course the Ravens were a totally different.
Different team.
However, the Ravens didn't trade everything to get him. But I see where you're coming from.
What's trading what you're trading? Yeah, I get your point, but what you're trading isn't. You're trading draft picks. I get it, but you're not. It depends how deep what your team is as made up. Period. Right there and then. You know what I'm saying?
That's why the Rams.
Yeah, so you can do it. So I'm saying, like if you're Washington, right, and say you believe you did your job, right? You did your job in terms of building your team and building like your core. If you're a good coach, you should be fine. Like Ray, look for a real talk. Let's keep it a buck. Lamar Jackson is dominant. Like, I love Lamar Jackson. And there's a difference, right? There's a difference with not having Lamar Jackson. I've said this for a while. Look at the Ravens team. Look at the talent. Yo, they coached up, bro. They're not that talented. A lot of them dudes aren't that talented. Like, in terms of, because you could tell when they go elsewhere, they're not the same dudes. And they do that. It happens a lot. They coach them dudes up. Like, a lot of them dudes, they coached up. And so I just think that also it's the environment. We talked about this before. It's the culture. It's what you cultivate out there. So I just feel like, and don't get me wrong, it's certain organizations, yeah, you need to keep your draft picks. You know what I'm saying? That means you're not coaching, you're not cultivating an environment of competition, you're not bringing that type of that vibe to your team. But there are situations where you can, quote unquote, give out the ransom for a particular player if you are cultivating the right environment. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. If you're cultivating the right environment, the winning environment, the hungry environment, you can lose a draft pick or two. But again, it depends on the talent. Like, I'm cool with real talk. I'm cool more than anything. I'm cool with giving up a king's ransom for Aaron Rodgers and Deshaun Watson. Nah, I'm not that heavy on Russ. I like Russ. I'm not that heavy on Russ, but I see where Rivera is coming from, because year 3 he got to make a move because it is what it is. But if he doesn't want to make that type of move and he wants to go with a Mitchell Trubisky and then draft, if he's gonna get Mitchell Trubisky, he better draft a quarterback on the back end. Like, that's my thing. If you're gonna get a Mitchell Trubisky, you better draft a quarterback.
Well, I'm totally cool with that. If that's the plan.
Yeah.
I think it's just what Washington needs to be is clear about
their plan,
what the plan is, and stick to it. And hey, if it works out, it works out. At least, and of course, that's great for everybody. If it doesn't, hey, at least you stay true to what your plan was, and you live with the results. But it's been so back and forth. We're trying to make the playoffs. Oh, I wish we didn't make the playoffs. Oh, we don't want to trade too much for a quarter. Building for the future. Oh,
now you're doing it.
We're willing to do whatever it takes.
That's what I'm saying.
It's everywhere. So that's the biggest issue. And again, this is a team that's trying to recapture a fan base. And unfortunately, I'll be real with you.
Yeah.
This is nothing personal, Mitch Trubisky. Anyway, I mean, he's better. He's a better quarterback than you and I. But if you're trying to reinvigorate a fan base,
that ain't the one.
Because I don't care if they're playing at Flowers. If you got Aaron Rodgers, people going to show up. The field won't matter, whether there's a bar around the stadium, it won't matter. Aaron Rodgers is your guy. You coming out to the stadium.
Bro, I'm telling you.
If Mitch Trubisky's your guy, listen, it's going to be a whole lot of empty seats next year, unfortunately. So from a business perspective, and I think that's where, while we don't necessarily, and I'm saying we, the general public, don't necessarily vibe with Daniel Snyder, that's where I think he comes in there. Like, that's why he's like, draft RG3.
Yeah.
Put fans in the stand. He's going to be electrifying. That's what he wanted. And he wasn't wrong, but it didn't last long.
Yeah, I mean, I said, I'm saying, like, but fans don't want that no more. That's the problem. They don't want that dude to mental to put his nose in, folks' business in terms of like the office. They want football minds to make football decisions. So
that's it.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, they'll get with that, and they're getting it right now. They're getting supposedly football minds making football decisions, and then they're mad about certain decisions. You can't make these fans happy any which way anyway. So
my last word, my closing words.
Go ahead, bro.
I do respect that we're going to go all in to get the right guy, because
I respect
you're trying to get the middle of the road guy, sort of what the Panthers did last season.
Yes, but yes.
And
true.
It's like, okay, what do we do now? And there was personnel changes and all, coaching personnel changes. So go all out, man. Make the Packers offer they can't refuse, and bring Aaron Rodgers in, man. And I guarantee it will be good from every standpoint. Business,
it's booming. Fans, it'll be booming.
The coaches, the defense will play hard for him.
Yes,
it's a mindset, bro. The running game could thrive with Aaron Rodgers because of just the threat he poses. It's going to change the entire dynamic of your franchise culture from top to bottom. Dan Snyder would sign off on that if he's still the owner.
Yeah,
I'm still around my prediction, but I respect the move. All I'm saying is,
look, man,
just be consistent.
Like Jerry Jones is making it easier for Dan Snyder to stay. But
if Richardson got forced out and the Jets still have their owner, then hey, it can happen. But
I'm just saying, like the similar. Well, that's a whole different topic.
But
you don't talk about.
The league is inconsistent.
They're inconsistent. It is.
That's why John Gruden is not coaching right now. But there's others who's still out there.
So true. So true. It is what it is. But like we talked about it, everybody's narrative. Everybody's narrative. But my last. This is my final statement. But to your point and what you were talking about, I'm like, if you're gonna go in, go all. If you're gonna go for a quarterback, go for the best that's available. Like, go for the best. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you're going to give out the king's ransom, don't give out the same king's ransom to somebody who's good, really, really good, but not great. You know what I mean? Go after greatness. Like, if you're going to give out the ransom, like, you're going in. Like, for me, like, I'm going all in. All my chips are on the table. I'm going for the top dog. I'm not doing no knock on Russell Wilson. There's no knock, you know what I'm saying, at all. I would, because of youth and like how much because of youth and he's just that good to me and Deshaun Watson, I would do that. But I'm just talking about Aaron Rodgers. You gotta go all. If you're gonna go for it, that's the one you hunt. You hunt at Aaron Rodgers. If you want instant success, you hunt Aaron Rodgers. To your point, Ray, everybody believes when you have Aaron. And I'll say this too. Like, you don't got to worry about Scott Turner when you got Aaron Rodgers, man. Don't have to. You just don't got to worry about him. All right, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to our podcast on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Podcasts. Search all Burgundy and go Errrything with the Urban Sports Scene. Also, tweet us at Urban Sports Scene and hit us up on IG at Urban Sports Scene and like our Urban Sports Scene Facebook page. Make sure you subscribe to the Fox Sports Radio, 1340 AM, Hopewell, Virginia, and Urban Sports Scene YouTube channels as well. Hey, we appreciate you all for tuning in. You've been listening to all Burgundy and Gold, everything with the urban sports scene on Fox Sports Radio 96.9 FM and 1340 AM. Hopewell, Virginia, 4 ages. You dig? Deuces, a mega. Lead us out, big homie.
Peace. Swag.